My name is DeShanda Williams, and I am the Chief Program Officer here at Pathfinders, and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
My name is Nikea Ward. I am the Director of Supported Housing Services here at Pathfinders, and I am also from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Pathfinders is an organization that's been around since 1970. We serve young people as young as 11, as old as 25, who have experiences of homelessness and home instability.
Sometimes we forget that people that young actually have experiences of housing instability. So, speaking from an assessment center standpoint and even a group home standpoint, when you're dealing with generational homelessness and generational trauma, young people are absolutely affected.
When I was 17, I was a peer at a youth shelter here in Milwaukee, and I learned that there were so many young people, and especially young people of color, and specifically Black young people that are experiencing homelessness and home instability. Social work was something that just naturally I had grown into, and getting into the field brought me into my internship, which I have been in the field ever since.
I initially wanted to go to school for criminal justice and I wanted to work with young people, but then I felt like I would only have an opportunity to work with young people whom were considered air quote bad or troubled or things of that nature. But you get a different array of young people when you're working in like group homes or assessment centers because they cross your paths for all sorts of reasons. It's not just an intersection with the justice system.
Young people don't always know how to communicate their unmet needs in a way that adults can understand sometimes, and so they're not always heard or listened to. And so a lot of times when they've experienced, similar to what Nikea was saying, they've experienced like some form of trauma or instability, they're displaying behaviors that people deem as bad behavior or disrespectful, when in reality they are communicating that there's some unmet need. I feel like as a society there's a lot of pressure on them to know how to do things and communicate things that they've never learned how to do or communicate. They're new to the world. They know what it is that they want. It's not always, there's often a miscommunication. Honestly, being a Black woman in this field has definitely felt like backbreaking work. There's been many years where I've been the only young person or the only Black person or the only woman, and having to navigate those spaces can be stressful. There is a lack of representation of Black women in leadership and executive leadership in the nonprofit world, especially here in Milwaukee, which means that there's a lack of mentorship. And I remember so many years considering myself a sacrifice for the work because it was so stressful. Like, I have to be here, I have to show up, I have to serve young people. There's so many young people that depend on, good, genuine, and authentic servants of this community. And I know I show up like that. I'm one of those people that they depend on.
I think that my experience has been an experience, a journey. Before recent, I was not a person who ever led with, or actually, I'm not even sure if I was aware of how many years I had actually been in the field and had been working or servicing young people, because it just became second nature. So I would just do it. In the midst of that, though, I feel like the experiences specifically for this field and with group homes and like assessment centers, there could sometimes be like a gray cloud or like a gray area where negativity can kind of grow or fester. So I think that was something that I had to learn early on, was choosing my integrity and what I'm doing in my mission. One thing you noted was being thankful for the mentors that you've had along your way. So it's like listening to your journey and like the different maybe things that you had to go through or had to experience on that way. And my journey was not that way. But I think that this is like the perfect example of like, she had to run so that we could walk, or she had to crawl so that we could walk, because my experience is so different because of the things that she's done, because of the journey that she's taken. No, seriously, it makes it so much different for me because I have a person who can guide me and mentor me from sitting at those tables and being in those rooms, and then who can better prepare me for what my experience should or will look like when it's my turn at that table.
I'm a guide or a help or a support. This is your life that you have to be able to live, and you're not going to be 100% satisfied with everything in your life, not at this moment, not at every moment. But if we can help you to navigate and to make decisions and support those decisions and learn the consequences of those decisions, you can lead your life, and because we won't always be there.
My experiences allow me to know that everybody's situation is different, and that just because it's different doesn't mean that you don't deserve support or deserve access. I just want, for me, with passing the baton, I think when it's my time, and I don't know if I'm ever there yet, or there, anytime soon, but I would say for me, it would be grounded in community, in partnership, and just that service. Like, I could pass it to someone whom I know is there to do the work.
If people are asking for it, if people are, showing up in those authentic ways, sometimes you have to let people know that there's an opportunity there, that they can do it, especially if they don't see people like them, because that was my experience. I didn't really see Black women in leadership. And so I want to be a leader that is open and that shares, this is what it takes, this is what you will experience, and this is what I have to offer you. For example, if you want to write grants, I'm taking you along the way. You want to know how to supervise, I'm taking you along the way. If you don't, I'm still here for you, and I'm here to support you. But I truly believe in sharing the information and exposing people to things so that they know that they even can do it or have the opportunity to do it. It is a triumph that we've been able to meet young people where they are, prevent so many young people from being in worse situations, being in homeless situations, and also see them grow into healthy adults. I'll share about a young person that just reached out to me recently, and he had really come in because he was going through his stages of identity and really learning who he was as a queer young person, and a Black queer young person. And in Black families, that's not always something that's accepted or supported, or we don't always know kind of what to do with that. And during this time, it was still especially hard. And, he didn't know, what direction to really go in. And sometimes his behaviors were seen as disrespect. Things would get so bad that he was banned from almost every shelter in Milwaukee and was told that he couldn't access certain programs. And I stuck beside him, and it was challenging, it was hard. I helped him get into housing, and at that point, when housing became stable, because Milwaukee at that point had more resources for youth housing, that was not just you needing some kind of disability statement. He has been housed ever since. He is about to graduate with his bachelor's in social work. He's been working in the health field, and every once in a while, he'll just let me know that he's alive and that he is well. That's a really special story to me, because in the weeds and the details of it, it was a really hard journey for him. And, one can see why so many organizations and people probably gave up, but I couldn't. And I couldn't see it, and I couldn't do it. And I'm so glad that I was able to support him through to where he is now.
To learn more about women of color on the front lines, visit shelterforce.org.